Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back in another video, and today we are back with my college football 2022 predictions. Today we have the Michigan Wolverines. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, as I would really appreciate it. Now looking at this Michigan team, last season they overachieved like crazy to many college football fans and shocking the college football landscape as they went to the college football playoff. They ended up the season with only 2 losses, one game where Kenneth Walker single-handedly defeated Michigan in East Lansing, and then of course they lost in the Orange Bowl versus Georgia. And the main thing, they beat Ohio State for once in their lives last year, so that was a big staple mark with this Michigan team. But the team last year was mainly led by that edge duo in Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo. If Ojabo didn't get hurt, both of those guys would have been first-round picks, but both of them are gone now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Michigan moves on between Hutchinson and Ojabo. And then, of course, you got Dax Hill leaving, who was one of my favorite safeties last season. And another big thing, they got new coordinators there at Michigan. The Broyles a winner last year in Josh Gaddis. I'm going to assume he had some issues with Jim Harbaugh, and he actually left Michigan to go down to Miami. So Sharon Moore remains as co-offensive coordinator, and then the quarterbacks coach and Matt Wise will join him as they both will become co-coordinators. And then their old defensive coordinator and Mike McDonald actually left Michigan to become a coach with the Baltimore Ravens. So they hired Jesse Minter as their new defensive coordinator. He was a defensive backs coach with the Ravens, and then last year he was the safeties coach and defensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. A new few coaches. And then Jim Harbaugh. It was actually rumored that he could have become the Minnesota Vikings head coach, but he decided to come back to college football. With this there's a lot of like swirling heads with this Michigan team, as there's been a lot of headlines with the loss of talent and then of course the loss of coordinators. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Michigan bounces back from this. But this offense is actually probably going to be the best part of this team. And the main thing is about this quarterback duo in Cade McNamara and then J.J. McCarthy. From who I talked to, a lot of Michigan fans actually think J.J. McCarthy should be the starter, but Cade McNamara is probably going to be getting the starting edge. Personally, I agree with them. J.J. McCarthy should start, but either way, I think the quarterback battle is not really going to affect the team. Well, affect with their overall record towards the end of the season. I love this running back duo and Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. I've always been a big fan of Donovan Edwards, even before he committed to Michigan. I think he's going to be doing some big things this season. And then Blake Corum actually comes back after he had a great season last year. He almost had 1,000 yards and he had 11 total touchdowns. That rushing attack was the main thing with this team. Hassan Haskins, the leading rusher, is now in the NFL. So Corum and Edwards are going to be taking a lot of the touches with this offense. But they could also be airing the ball out more, as Cornelius Johnson is going to be improved. They have the best tight end in the Big Ten, if not the second best, in Eric All. It's either him or Iowa's Sam Laporta. And then you also got Roman Wilson coming back. Ronnie Bell was having a great start to the season last year until he got a season-ending injury. Really going to be intrigued to watch him get back on the field and see how he performs. And then there is some good depth besides those three. But the main thing about this offense is the offensive line. They have a top 5 offensive line in college football. And they just got in a Virginia transfer in center. I'm going to butcher his name. Olusegun Oluwatimi. Definitely messed that up. Well, I'm pretty sure he's all ACC last year with Virginia. He's regarded as a top 5 center in the college football. So great pickup for the Wolverines. And alongside him is just tons and tons of experience on that offensive line. So this offensive line, in my opinion, is a top 5 and is easily the biggest strength of this team. Now it's time to talk about the defense. The defense was the main reason why this Michigan team has been so successful. But like I've already mentioned in the beginning, Aiden Hutchinson left, David Ojabo left, Dax Hill left. So their best 3 defenders are now gone. And then overall with this defense, the defensive line is probably going to be the weakest point of this team. They're probably not going to be able to rush the quarterback as well. Overall with this defense, it's a really good defense. Great? I don't know about that. but they always seem to find a way after one guy leaves to always replace him, and they always do well. So I'm definitely expecting that with Michigan. Who's that guy going to be? I have no clue, and I'm going to be honest with you. Either way, I don't think this Michigan defense is going to perform as well as they did last year under Heisman finalist Aiden Hutchinson. Overall, this defense should be good. The linebackers are good. The secondary is good, even though they lost Dax Hill. The defensive line is the main question mark on this Michigan team. And in some games, that's going to be a big factor. And then I don't even talk about the special teams in these predictions, but I also have to point out Jake Moody. He's probably the best kicker in college football, so that's a great return for the Wolverines. Now it's time to go into the schedule. And I'm not going to waste anybody's time with these first 3 games. These are all wins. The closest of the 3 is probably going to be Colorado State, just because I have so much respect for Jay Norvell and what he's done at Nevada. He decided to leave Nevada for Colorado State. Hawaii and UConn, if you don't beat them by 30 plus, there could be some question marks up in the air. Colorado State's probably going to be like a 27-26 point victory. Then you start conference plays, you host Maryland. If this was at Maryland, I would actually consider a massive upset in the making here. But this is going to be a noon game, home versus Maryland. I think Michigan will handle business versus them. Michigan starts out 4-0. And then if it's not for the Ohio State game at the bottom, this is probably the biggest game circled on Michigan's schedule at Iowa. Now, if this was a home game versus Iowa, if you saw my Ohio State predictions, it's probably going to be a similar outcome, as Iowa would probably lose around 10 points. The big thing is this is going to be at Kinnick Stadium. I hope this is not a noon game. It's going to probably be that 3:30 game, kind of similar to how Iowa-Penn State was last year. And it always seems like Iowa is red hot out to start the season, and then they fall apart towards the end of the season. That's probably how it's going to be this year. And Iowa's defense is going to be great. The offense is not going to be good, but it's definitely going to be much improved after how it was abysmal last season. I think Michigan loses this game at Iowa, mainly because Kinnick Stadium in a massive game like this is always a crazy place to play. Definitely going to be a close game, and this is easily a game I can see Michigan winning. I think this is not going to be a double-digit win by either team. I'm probably only going to have Iowa winning this game by 2-3 points. Very close game, so Iowa pulls away in this one. Next game, you're at Indiana. Not only are the Hoosiers probably the worst team in the Big Ten, this is a road game. Instead of beating them by 30, you're only going to beat them by 27. Now this game is a very interesting game on the schedule, home versus Penn State. Now, I may be a little higher on Penn State than most people, but either way, Michigan is going to win this game, only because they're in the big house. I've been seeing people have Penn State win this game, and then Michigan beat Ohio State. And how does that make sense? I've been very vocal about how my perspective is in some of these close games. I always lean towards the home team. If this was in Beaver Stadium, I would probably take the Nittany Lions in the close one. This game is in the big house. Michigan wins by around 6 points. Then you have a bye week, and then you host your rivals, Michigan State. Kenneth Walker III. That's who beat you last year. He's a Seattle Seahawk now, so he's not going to beat you again this year. And that's exactly why I think Michigan's going to win this game. And because of how last year's resulted, I think Michigan is going to put full throttle into this game. Michigan's going to win by a lot more points than you anticipate. I think I'm definitely going to take the minus points in Michigan because they'll probably be favored. I have Michigan winning this game by 15-16. I think they're going to go full throttle on the Spartans team. I understand Mel Tucker's building something there, but I'm not high on this Spartans team this year. Michigan wins this game. Now you are at Rutgers, and after you just penetrated Michigan State, I think this is going to be a lot closer than people anticipate. Yes, Michigan's going to win this game. I'm not going to say this is a massive upset at Rutgers. Rutgers is not, they don't have nearly the amount of talent as Michigan does, but I have a feeling this is the trap game on the schedule. This is going to be a lot closer than people anticipate. Yes, Michigan's probably still going to win by 10 or 11, but usually people are going to anticipate this is a 20-25 point victory. Not going to happen. A lot closer than you think. Rutgers is on the rise, people, but this is an easy win for Michigan still. Next game, you host Nebraska, and this is really going to be a fun game. I think this game is going to be closer than the Michigan State game, if I'm being totally honest with you. Michigan will win this game. If this was at Nebraska like last year, I would have Nebraska in an upset here. But I just don't think Scott Frost and that staff is going to be able to handle the big house crowd. Give me the Spartans. Give me the Wolverines. Michigan fans are going to get mad at me for that one. And then after this like little stretch you have here, you host Illinois, 30-point win. That'll be nice. It will be a 29-point win. Michigan wins, and then the big game. Well, it literally is the game. Michigan at Ohio State. And I think, like I said in the Ohio State prediction, just how Michigan went full throttle on Michigan State, Ohio State's going to do the same thing on Michigan. I think Ohio State's going to be furious after last year. The horseshoe's going to be packed, louder than ever in this one. Ohio State beats Michigan by 15-16. At the end of the season, I think Michigan will finish the year going 10-2, which are only losses at Iowa and at Ohio State. You're not losing one of your first 3 games. I don't see you losing to Maryland at home. The only home games I can see you losing are home versus Penn State and at Nebraska, but still wins those games by 10 points. The Iowa game's like 50-50 for me, and I only went Iowa since they're the home team. But I'm actually fully confident Ohio State will beat Michigan this year. So 10-2 for the Wolverines. What is your prediction for the Michigan Wolverines this season? Let me know down in the comment section below. Like always, like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss any other of my prediction videos. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.